Good morning, students. This is Sampat Bhadu, Assistant Professor of English, Government College, Sri Dungargarh. Today, we are going to take up the next series of the poem Rabbi Ben Ezra, Part-3. What is he but a brute, whose flesh has soul to suit, whose spirit works lest arms and legs won't play? To man propose this test, thy body at its best. How far can that project thy soul on its lone way? Here, the philosopher Rabbi Ben Ezra says that man is superior to animals in this sense that his soul directs him to achieve spiritual salvation. A man can make his spiritual development. One whose body has a soul just fitted to it is no better than a brute. It's only in the case of a brute that body and soul are identical. In the case of man, the soul must be much higher than the body. A man is not satisfied when his physical needs are gratified. He has much higher needs, for example, spiritual needs. Unlike the beast, a man does not work merely to ensure physical satisfaction. The test of a man is that his body exerting itself to the utmost should be at the service of the soul. The body should push forward the soul on its lonely path of spiritual development. Each one has to work out his or her own spiritual salvation, and the body should be of help in this task. In the beast, the soul is slave to the body. In man, the body is used for the good of soul. This is the difference between man and beast. Let's take up the next stanza. Yet gifts should prove their use. I own the past profuse of power, each side, perfection, every turn. Eyes, ears took in their dole. Brain treasured up the whole. Should not the heart beat once? How good to live and learn. In this stanza, Rabbi says that the body has equal importance as the soul has. We can achieve our goal through the use of physical activities and powers. We should use our body for the service of God. No doubt, as the Rabbi has told us in the previous stanza, the soul is more important than the body. But this does not mean that the body has no value. Quite to the contrary, the physical powers of man are also the gifts of God, and they also have their own value and their own function. We must show our gratitude to God by putting even our physical powers to good use. The Rabbi acknowledges that the best part of his life, i.e., his youth, was a blessing to him, for it was in his youth that he developed profusely or plentifully and perfected the powers of his senses and other physical organs. It was in youth that his eyes, ears, and other senses were developed through his experiences of life. The various experiences were organized and stored by the brain. Therefore, his heart, the heart of man, should throb with gratitude to God for all that he has learned and gained in his youth. It is in the fitness of things that he should be grateful to God even for the body, through which he has acquired such experience and knowledge. Let's take up the next stanza. Not once beat, praise be thine. I see the whole design. I, who saw power, see now love perfect too. Perfect I call thy plan. Thanks that I was a man. Maker, remake, complete. I trust what thou shalt do. In this stanza, the heart of great Rabbi throbs with gratitude to God for all the knowledge and experience he has gained or obtained in his youth. The Rabbi now realizes the wisdom and perfection of God's plan, which forms a continuous whole from beginning to end. There are no breaks of gaps or gaps in the design of God. One part is linked up with the other to form a perfect and organic whole. Thus, youth and age are interconnected. Age is the perfection of youth. It is the knowledge and experience gained in youth which leads to the wisdom of old age. In his youth, the Rabbi saw the evidence of God's power in the universe. Now he sees the evidence of his love as well. God is not only power, he is love as well. God's plan, his design of human life is perfect. The Rabbi can find no flaws in it or no mistakes in it. It is error free. He has full confidence in God. He places himself entirely in the hands of God and wishes that he should shape and mold him according to his own will. Whatever God does shall be the best for him. Next stanza. For pleasant is this flesh, our soul in its rose mesh, pulled ever to the earth, still yearns for rest. Would we some prize might hold to match those manifold positions of the brute, gain most as we did best. The Rabbi wishes that the soul should get some reward for its upward strivings, for its better efforts, and its reward, its pleasures, must be proportionate to its struggles. The life of the flesh has its own pleasures and charms. A soul is a prisoner in a beautiful body, hence the poet calls it a rose mesh. The body drags down the soul towards earthly pleasures, while the soul struggles to rise upwards. What a beautiful description. The body drags us, means our soul, towards earthly pleasures, temporary pleasures. But on the contrary, our soul takes our body or struggles to rise upwards, means towards the salvation or towards the achievement of spirituality. Torn by this conflict, the soul yearns or urges for rest. The Rabbi wishes that the soul should get some reward for its upward strivings, equal to the joys of the brute. The brute gets its pleasures without any struggle or spiritual strivings, and so the joys of the brute are called possessions. The human soul, on the other hand, has to struggle against the lure of flesh. Lure of flesh here means the attractions of our body for spiritual advancement, and its reward, its pleasures, must be proportionate to its struggles. Next, let's not always say, spite of this flesh today, I strove, made head, gained ground upon the whole, as the bird wings and sings. Let's cry, all good things are ours. No soul helps flesh more now than flesh helps soul. According to Browning's philosophy, man is a combination of the body and the soul. Body and soul are complementary to each other. Both are mutually helpful. The body helps the soul, and the soul stands by the body. This stanza contains the very core of Browning's philosophy. Both the body and the soul are the gifts of God, and hence both of them have their own value and significance. Man should not think that, act as if there were a hostility between the soul and the flesh. Hostility means enmity. He should not think that he has made spiritual progress in spite of the retarding influence of the flesh. Such a spirit shows ingratitude to God, thanklessness to God. As a matter of fact, the soul and the body are not antagonistic to each other. Antagonistic here means enemy to each other. Rather, they perfect each other. They are complementary to each other. So man should sing cheerfully like a bird that God has created such beautiful things of the world for his enjoyment, that the flesh and the soul help each other, and that both are equally necessary. Thus, it becomes clear that Browning advocates neither sensual indulgence nor an ascetic denial of the flesh. The ideal, according to him, is that both body and soul should work together, each for the other's good. Next and the last stanza for today. Therefore I summon age to grant youth's heritage, life's struggle having so far reached its term. Thence shall I pass approved, a man, for I removed from the developed brood, a god though in the germ. Youth is the period when man struggles hard to acquire knowledge and experience. Youth is a period of preparation for the wisdom and wider outlook which comes with old age. This wisdom is the heritage of youth, to which the youth is entitled by virtue of its struggle for knowledge and experience. Therefore, the poet calls upon old age to grant youth, now stepping into the maturity which comes with age, wider outlook and capacities with which the youth has become fitted at this stage. The struggles of youth, struggles for knowledge and experience, entitled him to be called a man in the real sense of the word. It is these struggles which distinguish him from the brute. Brute means uncivilized person, or the beasts, better to say. Uncivilized means animals. It's through these struggles alone that he can achieve manhood in the real sense and become a god, though in the embryo. It's only in this sense that his soul is purified of evil and the good in him is developed. It's only in this way that the divine element in him is developed and he gets nearer to God. Dear students, in brief, we can conclude that we human beings are the superior creatures in comparison to the rest of the creatures of the world. And God has, according to Rabbi Ben Ezra, or according to Browning, we can say, God has given us body and soul. We can't give special importance to any of the two. We can't give more value to soul or body, simply because soul is useless without body, and body is equally worthless without soul. For a spiritual attainment or salvation, body is necessary. Without body, soul can't exist. And without soul, body is a brute. Means we are uncivilized like animals. So body takes us, allures us towards the physical attractions or the physical pleasures or the worldly pleasures, whereas on the other hand, soul takes us to the upward flights, means the spiritual attainment or the salvation of our soul. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you.